here. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a quick and easy vegan dinner and also teaching you some stuff about veganism and why I personally am a vegan. So what I'm going to be teaching you how to make tonight is called chickpea salad or garbanzo beans. If you don't know what either of those are, they're the same thing whether you call it chickpeas or garbanzo beans. It's just a type of bean that's little and sort of yellow and looks like that. Now this recipe is from a book called The Vegan Lunchbox by Jennifer McCann, which is a very good cookbook if you're looking for just easy vegan lunches that you can make with pretty much anything that you can get at a normal grocery store, so there's no need to hunt across the city for weird exotic foods that you've never heard of before in your life. I really hope you've heard of garbanzo beans and that they're not that kind of weird exotic food, because chickpeas are a staple in my vegan diet and they're delicious. It's just a bean. It's really just a bean. But anyway, you can get them in a can at pretty much any grocery store. Here in Texas we have H-E-B. Up in Oregon there's the Fred Meyer. Everywhere there's Walmart. Just wherever you get your groceries normally, they should have garbanzo beans or chickpeas. Unless you live in isolation in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, somewhere where there are no people. Alright, so this recipe isn't exactly like what is described in the cookbook that I showed you earlier. It's very similar, but I've made some changes, and what we do in my family is a little different than what is in the original recipe. It's meant to be a lot like a chicken salad, but no meat and no processed meat substitutes. It's just the beans and some mayonnaise, or since normal mayonnaise has eggs in it, veganaise, and then some sesame oil and celery and green onions and a toasted nut of your choice, and then you're pretty much good. Now about this veganaise, which is what I call it, the pronunciation of the name, V-E-G-E-N-A-I-S-E, is very controversial because originally, when it was made in the early 70s, the word vegan was not very widespread. No one really used it, so it was originally pronounced veganaise, as in vegetarian mayonnaise, but now veganism is so popular and common that vegans look at it and they think, oh, it looks kind of like vegan, and they say veganaise, and that's what most people that I hear say is veganaise, so the name has kind of evolved, but some people still say veganaise too, and either way is fine. That's just what I prefer. Okay, so now that we've established what we're actually making in the first place, let's get started. Everything that you're going to need for this is some bread, some roasted, I use sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. What I have right now are pumpkin seeds. You're going to need some veganaise or just normal mayonnaise if you're a normal mayonnaise kind of person, some sesame oil, some green onions, some celery, some garbanzo beans or chickpeas. I'm just going to call them chickpeas from now on because that's my preferred term, and some of this thing called nutritional yeast. And again, it sounds really weird, but you can just get it at any store, usually in the bulk section in a bag. You can get it. And it tastes, it's almost kind of cheesy, but not really. I'm not actually sure what it is, but it's all hippie and naturally, and it tastes good, so, you know, I'm cool. Okay, so step one is to toast the nut that you are going to put in the salad. Here I actually chose a seed. These are pumpkin seeds, or as we call them in Spanish, pepitas. And what I did was I put them in a little pan over the stove and just let them toast up there, kept stirring them for a couple minutes, and now they taste all nice and toasty, and they're golden and delicious and amazing. So you're going to toast them and then set them aside, and we're going to work on something else. And then the next step is you are going to chop your vegetables, your spring onions and your celery. You're going to just take a knife, chop them little pieces. They're going to be mixed into the salad. We're not cooking them down or anything. So just make sure they're little enough that no one's going to choke, and you'll have to perform CPR, which you haven't learned yet. So when they die of choking, the death will be on you. So anyway, the point is make sure they're small. I have already done this before I started taping because I needed my dad to get back with the groceries so that I could start making dinner and filming myself. I'm totally normal. But he took a while, so I had some time on my hands, and I prepped all the ingredients early. And next, you're just going to measure out how many chickpeas you need. If you're just taking them from a can, you need 1 can of chickpeas per recipe. I'm making a triple recipe, so for me that would be 3 cans. However, I've cooked up some chickpeas. There's about 1½ cups of chickpeas to a can, so I'll be doing 3 groups of 1½ cups. So that's 1/2, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves, 5 halves, 6 halves, 7 halves, 8 halves, 9 halves, and that's all the chickpeas that I need. And the next step, and one of the final steps of this recipe, is just to combine all the ingredients in a bowl. So you're going to get out your nutritional yeast, you're going to get out your sesame oil, get out your mayonnaise, get out your sunflower seeds or whatever other nut that you use. They're over there, you can't see them, but that's cool. And you get out your green onions and get out your celery. And then just prepare to mix, and I'll show you the measurements of each that you need in a minute. So these are the measurements for if you're making a triple recipe, and that's going to feed about 6 people. So here goes. 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. 6 tablespoons of veganaise. 1. 2, or just mayonnaise. Whatever you have on hand will work fine. And again, I'm using the veganaise because eggs, my hands are just getting disgusting. Oh, and there's not enough in this jar. I'm going to open up another jar. I'll be right back. But just remember it's 6. Fun fact, according to a 2012 poll in the New York Times, over 1 million Americans are vegan. So veganaise is actually more common than you might think, which is why it can be found in most stores. 3 teaspoons of roasted sesame oil. And your 3 stalks of celery and 3 scallions, just chopped up real tiny. And your roasted pumpkin seeds from earlier. What are you looking at? Okay, so we've set aside our chickpea salad mix, and now we're slicing up some bread. I'm using sourdough, and I have to confess, I did not make this. This is just from the grocery store, but to be fair, they do bake it fresh there. I'm going to spare you the long and boring me cutting bread shot, and we're just going to cut now. 2, 4, 6, 0, 1. Voila! So I'm making open face here. So what we're just going to do is just take the bread and set it down and pile a little chickpea salad on top of there. In my family, we call this luscious chickpea salad because it's that good. You just have to use unnecessary vocabulary to describe it. It's amazing. So that's it for our open-faced chickpea salad sandwiches. Now we're going to make a really quick and easy fruit salad. You should know how to do this, but in case you're a cooking dolt like me, I am a recovering cooking dolt, I'm going to just walk you through it really quickly here. And what I have here is just some mango and some orange and some apple just chopped up, which I think makes a good fruit salad. So we're just going to dump that in a bowl, and then you can mix it together after you're done. And we're just going to spoon some of that fruit salad right on to the plate. Like so. And just for a little extra flavor, we're just going to add some chili pepper here, just a couple dashes on the fruit salad. That looks delicious. Alright, so finished product is chickpea open face sandwich and fruit salad. with some pepper sprinkled on the top. And that looks great. Alright. Vegan dinner challenge completed.